Hi, I'm Sean Scott, the superintendent with Adams Central Public Schools.
Tell us a little bit about Tom Jaworski, would you please?
Well, Tom is a instrumental band teacher for us at Adams Central Public Schools, and a great guy just to for our students and honestly the staff too. So
Great. Do you want to share any special stories or anything about Tom?
well, I tell you, I've seen Tom in a lot of different instances and circumstances, and I tell you, what was it, 8 years ago, he did the presidential inauguration, and when he did that, he asked me to go along as a sponsor, and I thought that'd be okay. I had no problem with that. I thought it'd be great for me to be with the students and everything else, until about a week or two after that, after I committed, he told me that he needed another person to march in the presidential inauguration. I said, sure, so who are you going to get? He said, well, you. And well, I have never marched before in my life. So he says, well, come out to practice and we'll go along with the kids. So he spent more time, I think, back with me trying to get me to line up and march the correct way than he did with the students. But we got through it. So Tom is such a special teacher to a lot of people in Adams Central. And when you sit down and you look at what he's been able to do with the program and moving kids forward and his high expectations, I tell you, this is Tom is well deserving of some kind of this award. I mean, just looking at what he's done across his career, I tell you, I wish every teacher in the state could see how Tom teaches as a role model.
Mr. J, I just want to take this opportunity to say congratulations on such a huge honor. And I also want to say thank you for all that you've ever done for me. You have touched so many lives throughout the years, and I know I speak for fellow band members and parents and everyone that you've ever worked with, that we know that you truly deserve this, and you are probably one of the most kind and compassionate people we've ever met. It took me years to realize this, but you taught me so much more than just music. You taught me how to be a good person and how to look for the best in people and how to never give up no matter how disheartening the situation is or how challenging things are. I live every year with my teaching to inspire students the way that you inspired me, and to touch lives the way that you impacted mine. And I hope that, someday I can leave a lasting impression on them that you did on me. And I just hope that you can really take this time to enjoy it and celebrate all of your accomplishments, and just know that we all appreciate everything you've ever done for us.
When I think of Tom Jaworski, the first word that comes to my mind is dedication. That man really knew what he was talking about. You could ask him how to finger any note on any instrument and he would know right away what to tell you. And when I think back to class with Mr. Jaworski, I really appreciate that there was never any wasted time. From the moment we got there to the moment we left, there wasn't a minute that wasn't utilized to its maximum potential. And I think the reason for that was that Mr. Jaworski was always there at the crack of dawn, getting ready for all of us to make sure that we had the best educational experience possible. And in one of my education classes last year that I took, the professor asked us to imagine a master teacher. And the first person that I thought about was Tom Jaworski. And I hope that one day in my classroom I can be as great of a teacher as Mr. Jaworski was for us. Well, I started with Mr. Jaworski when I was in 5th grade. And he would always tell us, only practice on the days that you want to eat, and only practice on days that end in Y. So that was something fun. And then also Bronco brownies. So when we would get a superior in our field marching, his wife Rita would make these amazing brownies, and now he gives them away as graduation gifts, and you get the recipe at your wedding, so I've heard. So that's something to look forward to. But congratulations, Mr. Jaworski. And, behind every great man is a strong woman, so congratulations to you too, Mrs. Jaworski.
I'm Linda Johnson, and I teach vocal music at Adams Central Junior Senior High School. And I've taught with Tom now for 19 years. This is our 19th year together. I consider Tom to be a master educator. I've watched him for 19 years and what he does for students, with the students, for the other teachers, for the Nebraska music educators. It's pretty phenomenal what he has done. I consider Tom to be, I think about him being the ever-ready bunny. It doesn't matter what happens, what brings him down, he always gets back up and is going again. He takes the kids on trips, whether it's to Chicago or marching in Disney World in Florida, to marching in the inaugural parade in Washington, D.C. He just really gives his students a wonderful experience. I just congratulate Tom on this wonderful honor. It is well-deserved. He has done so much for NMEA, for teachers. He's been a mentor to me and a good friend, and he always looks out for the students. The students come first, and so I just can't think of anybody that is more deserving of this honor than Tom Jaworski. So congratulations, Tom. So Tom's most favorite remark is, "There is no fun in band. There is no fun in the arts," but he always managed to make it a very fun place for his students to be.
I am Jonathan Jaworski. I had Tom Jaworski, my dad, as a band director for 6 years, from 7th grade through 12th grade at Adams Central. And since then, I've gone on to college, and I'm now band director at Ashland Greenwood Public Schools in Ashland. Dad was dad, and it didn't matter what the situation was. Whether it was first hour marching band or it was dinner table at home, he was always the same person. His humor especially really, and again, it was the same, whether he was in front of 60 band kids or in front of 4 of us at the dinner table. His humor was his humor, and that always went a long way to getting things done. And I can see that now in my own teaching, the way I approach things. If I can lead with a stupid pun or something like that, then the kids always, they smirk at it, but then they pay a little more attention too. You know, for Dad, it's always about kids and how can he help kids. And not even his kids necessarily at school. Once, this was probably 2000, I was teaching, so 2005, 2006, something like that. He hosts a junior high band contest every year at Adams Central, has for like 35 years now. One of the participating directors had to, he had to leave town. I think his mom had passed away suddenly. So Dad, rather than having those kids not have a good experience, this was the week of contest, he took a personal day away from his students and his own contest preparations, and he drove to this other town, and he worked with that band that day so he could learn their music and they could get used to him, and then he conducted them at contest. He wanted them to have that experience. You know, that's just one example of things that he's done for kids over the years to teach them music, yes, but to teach them all those other things that go along with being involved with music. Congratulations on a very long and very successful career for Dad. He's certainly impacted a lot of kids over the years, and not even just in how they perform on musical instruments. You know, the kids he's taught at Adams Central or at music camp, or you know, previous years at Weeping Water, Aurora and Genoa, they learned things from him beyond music. The way you act, the way you react when things don't go your way, the way you just carry yourself and you take care of your business on a day-to-day life. So congratulations, and certainly a well-deserved honor.
How'd you get started in the music business?
Well, I can still picture it. My dad, we were driving down by the old Rose Bowl in Omaha, and it was a rainy day. And he said, "Your older brother just told me he wished he had played an instrument. Is there an instrument you want to learn how to play?" I was in 2nd grade at the time. And I said, well, I've always kind of liked to play flute. I think I like the sound of the flute. And on the spot, Dad made up a song and went, "Newt, Newt." He used to play a flute, but somebody came along and stepped on his boot, so he ran it up his snoot. and that became kind of a theme song. And anyway, I started playing an instrument early, and played through the Douglas County 4-H band, where I met my wife, actually. I was in junior high at the time, and went on through school. And junior year in high school, after seeing the influence that Tom Harvey had had on her, Rita and her friends at Burke High, I decided that's what I wanted to do. And this man that I had never had as a teacher or anything, I asked him to take me to my Eagle Scout occupation. You're supposed to go to this banquet at Offutt Air Force Base and have someone come that's in the profession that you want to be. And he took me. And I decided if somebody can be that dedicated and take a Saturday afternoon to do something for somebody they didn't know, that's the kind of person I wanted to be. Started at Genoa, Nebraska. And I started there because they had an opening and it was a job I could get. I remember going for the interview and met with the president of the Board of Education, who came from the grocery store, and he still had on the butcher bib. And I mean, I was born and raised in Omaha. This is a small town of 1,200 people. And I met with the superintendent and met with the principal, Larry Bornschlegel. And they hired me, and it was a 5/12 job. And that's where we got started. And we were there for 4 years. After that, we went to Aurora for a year. We went from there to Weeping Water and left Weeping Water. We were at Weeping Water for 7 years. And first time we marched there at the county fair. We marched with 15 kids at Weeping Water. And when we left 7 years later, we had built the band up to 60-some kids. The opportunity presented itself, and we went to Adams Central in '86 and have been there ever since.
How many total years have you been teaching?
This is my 43rd year.
What are some highlights of your career?
Well, I've had a lot of different highs. I've been blessed. I'm blessed far more than I should have ever been. At Genoa, we got the only year that Genoa ever got a superior at Pershing, the old Pershing contest. That was our last year there. In Weeping Water, a highlight there had to be when we marched the presidential inaugural parade. And then at Adams Central, it's been an interesting ride. We've had a lot of success, and the kids have just been great, and the parents have been great, administration has been great. We've had highlights there. We marched the inaugural parade there, and we've had good luck at marching contests and superior ratings at state the last 5 years, which is kind of nice. And the kids have just really been good. And then I had private students. 1 year was a highlight for me as private students. I had 2 private students that sat first and second chair in the all-state orchestra on flute.
Who were some of your mentors who influenced you through your career?
Well, I've got to start with Jack Snyder, who flat out just pulled me aside. We had just gotten back from the European tour, and we were packing up stuff to leave, and he just pulled me aside and he says, "Well, now you're starting your job. Just remember you can't do it all at one time. You got to take it piece by piece," and I think that's an important thing to remember. But Jack and Don Lentz, the guys that really helped me learn a whole lot more about how to let kids have fun and entertain themselves and still work hard, were Dan Ely, and then I learned a whole lot from a guy by the name of Jim Schultz when we used to work together at camp. Other people, Linda Johnson taught me how to be excited about being a grandparent. Now that doesn't sound like it should have to happen, but she was always the one that was talking about grandkids, and I hadn't really thought about grandkids that much, but she made me realize that those things were important. Dwayne Johnson out at the college, at Hastings College, has always been a big mentor. Whenever you have a question, you can call Dwayne, because he'll know the answer. Dale Dunsing has forgotten more about marching band than I'll ever know. But there have just been all sorts of people that have just been very, very helpful.
What advice would you give to young teachers today, just starting out in the business?
You have to go into this business with so much enthusiasm for what you want to do that those down days or those down weeks or those down months or down years, the fire doesn't go out.
What would you like people to remember about Tom?
I guess I just want to be remembered as somebody that left the door open for everybody and took them as far as they could possibly go.
You want to share any band camp stories?
Well, we did the water pitcher thing, and the time Ely tried to bungee jump his trumpet off the scaffold, and the rope was a little too long, and ended up dinkling his horn. And Ron Rickert and Terry Prince and I took turns doing a Hans and Franz instrument repair workshop, where we flattened the trombones. We had all sorts of interesting things at camp, but it was a good time, and I think it did more for helping bands across the state and kids across the state catch fire about music than any honor band ever possibly could. And I was proud to be a part of it.
Is there anything else you think we should know about Tom Jaworski?
Well, I still am extremely humbled about this whole process. And I need to thank my wife. She fits uniforms, makes Bronco brownies for the kids. And all of my colleagues that I've worked with through the years, there's Monty Berger, Roger Adkins that you know of. It's just been an overwhelming thing, and I just can't believe that I belong here with the names that are on that wall.
Thank you, Mr. J.